All right, people, this one is for tomorrow, less than 24 hours from now. It's January 23rd. It is the return of welterweight, middleweight champion, MMA fighter, Coron Mcgregor. Now, Conor McGregor is a person that has surprised me. You know, he did mixed martial arts for about 12 to 13 years. You know, he made millions of dollars. He became one of the first few MMA fighters to make millions of dollars. He went from making chump change to thousands of dollars to millions of dollars. He is a 30-time world champion. So he's won 3 or 4 championships in 4 weight classes. He's been doing this for almost a decade and a half. And he retires, starts doing movies, television shows, commercials, starts doing commentating. Then comes out of retirement and challenges Floyd Mayweather Jr. You know, we all saw that fight like 3.5 years ago. 4 years ago, he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. Retires, and then he comes back out of retirement, and then he's going to fight Dustin Poirier in their second fight. So for him to make a return back to the UFC at his weight class is impressive. Now, what can he do, you know, at 35, 36? What can he do at that age? I still think he got the hand speed. I still think he got the hand power. I still think he can still knock you out with a right hand or a left hand. He still has knockout power. And he's still big enough and strong enough and fast enough to beat you up for 2 or 3 rounds. Like, if he wanted to knock you out in 2 rounds, he can knock you out in 2 rounds. If he wanted to knock you out in 4 rounds, he can knock you out in 4 rounds. So I think the fight favors Conor McGregor. He's a big favorite. He's expected to win this fight. His return could mean a lot for the UFC. The UFC don't have stars. You know, the minute Brock Lesnar left UFC to go back to WWE, you know, Ronda Rousey followed suit after that. You know, there's no BJ Penn. You know, you don't have Cain Velasquez and Junior Santos. You know, those were all big MMA fighters in their respectable weight classes. And for Conor McGregor to come back gives UFC that superstar power that in other sports. Like in the NBA, you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the Lakers. On the Clippers, you got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. On the Brooklyn Nets, you got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden. You need superstars for people to identify your sport. In professional football, you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you got Tom Brady. You know, you got Antonio Brown. You look at the Green Bay Packers, you got Aaron Rodgers. You look at Kansas City Chiefs, you got Patrick Mahomes. You need superstars in respectable sports for people to identify with. And with MMA, you've got Conor McGregor. You know, he's good enough to draw, get you to watch pay-per-view fights. He can get celebrities to come to his fights. He can get the attention of a Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, a Mark Wahlberg, you know, a Denzel Washington, a Michael B. Jordan. He can get the attention of celebrities to watch him fight. And I do believe he will win the fight. I do believe he is a 10-1 favorite to win. I do believe he'll either win it in a second round or third round, unanimous decision. It won't be that surprising. He'll win the same time as he won before. I think the first round, he'll start off filling out his opponent. He'll allow his opponent to get a nice couple of hits in. Second round is where he's going to start to let loose, and then the third round he's gonna hammer him into submission, probably put him on the floor, tie him up in the corner in the cage, and then finish him off with a series of barrage of punches. Now, order for Dustin to win, he's going to have to do something different. He can't do what he did in the first fight, because he had the fight won, because I did watch the replay from the fight. He actually had that fight won, and one of his biggest mistakes was he fought early, and then when it was time for him to exert energy, he had nothing left for those later rounds. And as a result, Conor McGregor took him out early. So to avoid that, he needs to conserve, pace himself, go for early takedowns, make sure he's able to hit him, and go for body shots. You know, if you go for a knockout and you do it early in the fight, when it's time for you to do it later in the later rounds, your body's going to be spent. Your body's not going to have energy. You're older. You know, when you get in your late 30s, early 40s, and you get in the fight game, your body's not going to respond as quick as it did in your 20s and early 30s. So if he wants to win this rematch, he needs to go for body shots, attack the body, keep him down to the mat. Don't ever let Conor McGregor stay up, and fight his game. One of his biggest mistakes, according to the replay, is he tried to fight Conor McGregor's game. And history has it, when you fight Conor McGregor style, you lose. So he needs to fight his style of play and get Conor McGregor to fight his game and bait him up into a bait and switch, and not get into a, punching back and forth, trading hit shots. Because if you do that, Conor McGregor can win from that standpoint too, because he has done it before. And so this is what I think this means. This is my predictions for UFC tomorrow. Of course, it's on pay-per-view. I'm just giving you my thoughts on the fight. I told you I would do multiple sports on my multiple channel.